Look at the series overall, not to get lost in the mix. Robin Heron getting the start game one. Peyton Burnham yesterday, the shutout ball that we have seen. They have been lights out in the circle.
And how about the 3 double plays we saw yesterday?
Great point by you. The defense has been rock solid. And for Auburn, take a look at their lineup. Alyssa Hastings, a transfer from Lipscomb, first team All-Atlantic Sun last year. Playing well, hitting well. They're going to need more from her in the top of this order, starting with Kylie Shaw.
Yeah, nothing's changed. It's been the same starting 9, same order all weekend long. I think that was a question you and I had, is if we'd see anything shake up here in Game 3.
It's a question I had for you. We kind of wondered, and we shall see. Sailor Timmerman gets a start in the circle underway, and a first pitch low and away for ball 1. Calling the Hogs early on this mic'd up Monday. Timmerman, the freshman out of Wisconsin, 5-star prospect and a member of the under-18 USA junior national team.
Timmerman trying to find the strike zone. See, she's trying to get up in that upper quadrant of the strike zone, almost hitting Shaw on the second pitch of that at-bat. She's all north and south.
I'm looking at 3 different counts on 3 different screens right now. Batter number 1, and that is ball number 4. So Kylie Shaw draws the walk. The Florida transfer leads the SEC in free passes coming into this weekend series.
This was an issue we saw yesterday with Arkansas in the circle. Just too many lead-off walks. 4 in 7 innings last night. 3, excuse me. 3 to start the inning. But a lot of free bases awarded. 2 hit by pitches, 4 walks. And it always was defense that came to clean up a little bit of that messiness in the circle.
From our perspective, it felt like on several occasions Auburn was getting ready for a rally, and on every one of those occasions there was a double play turned. Shaw over at first base has now reached safely in 38 of 39 games this year coming in to the Plains. Three and 1 the count to Alyssa Hastings.
The Lipscomb transfer, you know, talking to head coach Chris Malvo, just raved about the talent of this lefty. Wishes he had 10 of her on this roster. I think her transition to Auburn, they were curious about just the switch of the league from from Lipscomb into Auburn, what SEC play would require of her, and her career has exploded since stepping into a Tiger uniform.
They said she's a natural hitter, a knack for reading pitches. Can she do it here? And the answer is a resounding yes. Brief conversation with Miller and Timmerman out in the circle. 3 and 2.
Timmerman trying to establish the top of the strike zone. This is a rise ball, let her high. She's been hammering that location for the top of the first here.
Into left field, that's deposited for a base hit. Runners at first and second. And a good start for Auburn on the road here in Game 3.
And a good adjustment by Hastings. You know, she took that strike thinking it was going to be ball 4. Almost virtually the same location. Timmerman throws maybe a half a ball lower. And guess who's on time for it? Hastings. She's been money in the 2-hole for Auburn this season.
Second hit of the series. Runners at first and second. No one out for Michaela Walker. Tigers without a knock and 9 chances with runners in scoring position this weekend. Walker coming in from LSU. Career numbers for her this season. Those 10 home runs, a surge of power in the 3-hole. Ball and a strike to count.
Now Walker dealt with an ankle injury late last season at LSU.
And Chris and Kate Malvo, the co-head coaches for the Tigers, telling us this week, if trying to get her back to maybe with that speed as that ankle not only gains full strength, but also mentally, that confidence is there. Slow roller, only play will be at first. That'll advance both runners. And a bang-bang play. We have seen Rijo make some phenomenal plays over at shortstop in this series. One away, but two in scoring position. Big moment early. Annalie Adams. First pitch off one hop. Throw comes home from second, and it is in time. Davison, the wherewithal and the precision on the toss. Two away with a play at the plate.
This is interesting. I mean, right off the bat. There's a little hesitation from Shaw at third, and then once she makes the decision to commit, she took off. There was no attempt at the rundown, no attempt to try and generate a little chaos between third and home.
There's Haven Roebuck. Tigers now with runners at the corners. That play, that sequence, kind of a microcosm of this weekend.
I think that's a great way to put it, for sure. There was a couple questionable choices base running yesterday that we saw running into double play outs. You know, some things happening defensively that are right in front of you, developing right in front of you that require some high IQ ball, some decision making in the moment, and Auburn just not quite hitting the mark.
Tigers coming in at 23-15. Inside for ball two. Auburn already, or Arkansas rather, already with 32 wins versus just 5 losses, 7-4 in the SEC. For Courtney Deifel, which she has been fun to talk to this week, riding the momentum of that Florida series victory. Back to the circle, and the throw is off target. A run scores, and Auburn strikes first here on the road in game 3. Now Timmerman on that delivery, and a bang-bang play over at first base.
Well, you could see a tentative Timmerman coming off of the mound to field this. And I get it. McDowell from third, still a ways away from fielding that ball. It was a softly hit ball, but you could even see a little bit of the awkwardness, the unsureness from Timmerman as she fielded that backhand and then coming over the top to throw. It's one of those things. You got to have an arm that can field that position, unless you're going to have a third baseman cut across the field there.
They're tending to the first baseman, Bell. And Tiana.
We'll wait to see how this is scored. I would guess this is going to be a throwing error on Timmerman.
So I'm going to score it, at least for now. You hope that Bell is okay.
And that is exactly how they are scoring it. Throwing error from Timmerman in the circle. Yeah, this throw took her up the line. Looks like Bell's doing all right.
And that's where it hurts, the collision with that left hand with the glove.
Hey, this is a big break for Auburn. This is the first run they've scored all weekend. We have seen lights out defense from Arkansas the past 2 games.
Anaya Womack with runners still at the corners. And a big cut, 0-1. Junior out of Mississippi, 10 home runs. Paces the Tigers this year, along with Michaela Walker. And a runner will advance to second as Roebuck with a heads-up play. The ball got away from Miller momentarily.
Yeah, quickly, Timmerman in a jam. Bases are juiced. Leadoff walk, gave up the single, had the error in the circle, the throwing error, and now a hit by pitch to load it up. So Courtney Deifel coming out for a word.
Well, The bases loaded. Auburn strikes first. It does feel like a game the Tigers absolutely have to have, given their recent struggles, and finding a way to manufacture a run in the top of the first, a big deal.
Keep in mind, Sailor Timmerman, a freshman in the circle, right? So these are some valuable situations for valuable reps. Think about where we are in the season, virtually halfway through SEC play, and what we know about Arkansas is that they're a team that knows how to win big games, and having a young arm in the circle, it's important.
Turned 27 double plays this year, second in the country, leads the SEC. And a big moment for the Tigers and Kyla Stroud. Sophomore out of Covington, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, hitting .281. The bases loaded, Adams, Roebuck, and Womack on.
To me, looking at those defensive numbers too, that's got to give a little bit of freedom to this arm. Easier said than done, I understand that, but knowing that you've got a stellar defense behind you, feel the freedom to throw through the zone.
There it is, the punch out to retire the side. Auburn an unearned run, its first run of this series, and the Tigers also have their first lead.
A little bit of trouble in paradise here early for Sailor Timmerman. She gets herself out of it. First strike of the ball game.
Back in Fayetteville, Arkansas offensively has made the most out of its production this weekend. 14 hits rather overall, 12 RBIs. The only extra base hits have all been home runs. As you take a look at the lineup for head coach Courtney Deifel and Kaylee Wyckoff, 2 home runs this weekend. Monster shot, 3-run delivery, game 1, and a lengthy long ball yesterday to help pace Arkansas that 4-0 win. Ella Harrison in the circle, second time we've seen her this weekend, the sophomore right-hander in the Rutgers transfer for the Auburn Tigers. Native of the Empire State, 10-6 overall. 105 innings with a 3.80 ERA. 1-1 to Reagan Johnson.
This is what you saw in game 1 from Harrison. Through 3 innings, 79 pitches. I mean, she definitely had some labor in the circle. Similar to Timmerman, another north-south arm. So you're going to see rise and drop from her. A little bit of change up, not much. Another young arm, sophomore arm in the circle.
Part of the Big Ten all-freshman team last year at Rutgers. State University of New Jersey.
That was part of, I think, the story, too, with Auburn was just how much they lost last season. I mean, 6 of their starting 9 offensively exited, graduated. They lost 3 arms from their pitching staff, had a lot of innings for this team. I mean, they had to reload in some creative ways.
Johnson strikes out. First strikeout for Harrison.
Yeah, this is a really good look at just how much newness is on this team. 6 transfers, 9 returners, and then the young, right? 7 freshmen, 22 total. This is just a lot of puzzle pieces this team is trying to put together.
There's Brinley Bain. Of those 6 transfers, 4 coming in from the SEC. It's something we're seeing a lot more of in 2026. Use of the portal. In the dirt, 1-1. Brinley Bain, a native of Tennessee, freshman. Leading hitter coming into the weekend was Miss Tennessee softball and Middle Tennessee Female Athlete of the Year last year. Co-head coach Chris Malvo told us she has a work ethic unlike anything he's ever seen, which is quite a statement. Talked about her poise. He said in high school we knew that she was special. Of course, that's head coach Courtney Deifel.
I was scratching my head a little bit, but
you know, it's Monday night. Sometimes these things happen.
I thought maybe it was my pregnancy brain.
I'll tell you what it is. I made this comment to you earlier. The 3-1. Big cut. It's the jerseys.
Yeah. The anthracite. Yeah.
When I first saw Arkansas walk into the ballpark, I thought for a moment that it was Auburn, and then you had to correct me.
Like, I think that's the anthracite, the white and the anthracite today.
Back-to-back strikeouts.
Wow. Yeah, Harrison is in rare form tonight. A lot of control up in the zone. The tight revolution. It's interesting, too, because of the comparison between what we saw from Timmerman and Harrison just through the first. I mean, they're chipping away at the same elevation of the strike zone, but the tunneling right now from Harrison is so much sharper. See, that's the drop ball. You know, trying to split that eye level takes some practice, but she is owning the top half of this strike zone at the moment.
Tigers had just one strikeout yesterday, just 5 in the series before Harrison recording 2 strikeouts in the top of the first. Rather in the bottom, Hastings with a nice play. 1-0 Auburn, 1 inning in the books in Fayetteville. Full on a mic'd up Monday, and certainly emotions running high with that strikeout to end Auburn's scoring threat, leaving the bases loaded just moments ago with Sailor Timmerman in the circle for the Razorbacks. Good start for Auburn, trying to salvage this series by winning the final game after losing the first 2. And the Tigers back up to bat, top of the second. Ratliff, Wilson, and back to the top of the order with Kylie Shaw. Freshman catcher out of Indiana. And over to second, Davidson up with it quickly. 1 away. Is it hard, going back to your playing days at Oklahoma, you win the first 2 games of a series, you look good, you feel good in doing so, to finish the job with the sweep?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge, is you can get to game 3 after, you know, taking care of business in the first 2. Real easy to be on cruise control, right? To put it on autopilot, just to phone it in. And this conference specifically, where we are in season, it's just not, it's not an option. And knowing how badly Auburn's trying to figure some things out. They're probably a little bit chapped, right? They want to come out here and stick a W in the back pocket on the road.
Daigle Wilson into center field, played perfectly, fighting the sunshine. It's Reagan Johnson, and there's 2 away.
And even talking to head coach Kate Malvo yesterday in the 4th inning, she even voiced to us, hey, you may see some things during the game that aren't yielding results, but what you don't see is that we are figuring some things out. There are some things offensively that we're tracking that we feel good about. But unfortunately, with the nature of this game, it doesn't always roll in your favor.
Back to the top of the order in Kylie Shaw. Does that mean they're looking at contact and just?
I think so too. There's
okay.
There's game. You and I've had this conversation, like games within the game. And when base hits are hard to come by, when runs are hard to come by, you got to chop up the game into bite-sized portions. Hey, we're fighting for hard contact. We're fighting for full counts. We're fighting for walks. I mean, again, it's trying to make the game more digestible with smaller wins. And those are things that we don't always see up in the booth.
Certainly I don't. I know that you're able to process those in a more efficient manner. But it does make sense. You're looking for little wins, and then you stack those up, and it leads to runs, leads to wins. 3-1, and Timmerman flips it right past the bat of Kylie Shaw. Razorbacks at 7-4 in the SEC, 32-5. Climbed a bit in the standings this recent run. The series win against Florida, backing that up with a series victory against Auburn, going for the clean sweep today. Courtney Deifel said she watched the walk-off Game 3 against the Gators 57 times off the bat of Dakota Kennedy. So excited about that. Too far inside. That clipped her. Be the second time an Auburn batter's been hit by a pitch. And the inning continues now for Alyssa Hastings.
I thought it was interesting hearing Coach Deifel say one part that she loves about the game is reactions. She likes to go back and re-watch games just to see how players react, the facial expressions, the celebrations. And it'll be interesting to see her reactions tonight with the mic'd up Monday.
No doubt about it. Yeah, one of the questions I asked her, I was like, Coach, a moment like that, do you feel like a player?
Yeah, are you in the middle of it?
Right.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I don't want to be in the middle.
I want to watch.
Yeah. I felt like a player watching that moment. It was so exciting. That's a big series victory against a really good top 10 Florida team. To center, Johnson retreated, now on the move, makes the play easily. Tigers strand one, a 14-pitch frame, 1-0 Auburn, headed to the bottom of the second. Beautiful evening on a mic'd up Monday here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Aaron Miller, Roy Philpott, bottom of the second inning. And 1-0, the visitors from the Plains with the advantage, trying to avoid the sweep. Ella Harrison in the circle, off to a rock-solid start, a 1-2-3 first. The couple of strikeouts for AU. Dakota Kennedy will lead things off. It'll be 4, 5, and 6. Senior out of Sacramento, coming in from Arizona. What a season she has enjoyed, hitting .351 with those 12 home runs, including that walk-off winner against the Gators to left field last Sunday. It's interesting. You win that game in walk-off fashion, and then you have an extended break with no midweek. So Courtney Deifel gave her team a couple of days off. They had a barbecue here at the ballpark one of those days. The 1-0 by Kennedy. There it goes. Deep right field and gone, and we are tied. Boy, she made that look and feel effortless. 13th home run of the season. It didn't take long for the Razorbacks to respond.
This is the danger. If you're Harrison, hammering letter high, top of the strike zone with that rise ball and too sweet. I mean, this is not a bad pitch. It's just the fact that when you are elevating a ball against a bat like Dakota Kennedy, you're in danger zone, baby. And that just looked easy for her. Smooth as silk. That swing is gorgeous.
Effortless is what it felt like in real time. Ella Harrison, Tiana Bell, tapped over to third and retrieved quickly by Haven Roebuck for out number 1.
It makes, every time I see a rise ball pitcher, I mean, I've faced and called some elite rise ball arms, but that's the danger with the rise ball, is that if it doesn't have that jump, if it's not moving through that tunnel, and if it's hung letter high, especially against a swing plane like Tiana Bell, that was my favorite ball to hit out of the park, was something elevated.
Riker chasing quickly out of the Auburn dugout, now back in after a couple of words to starting pitcher Ella Harrison tonight. I mean, Arkansas and this offense just comes at you in waves.
Yep.
Relentless.
It's a great way to put it. I mean, what we've seen through the past 2 games, the home run power started with the 5-hole in Bell. It went through the 6, the 7, and now the 4-hole back up with Dakota Kennedy.
Talia Rijo, the batter, celebrated her senior day yesterday. Senior out of Horseheads, New York. A couple of Empire State natives going toe-to-toe here.
That was it. That was the pitch right there.
Ball to strike. Fly ball, center field. On its way and gone. 7th of the season, and Arkansas grabs its first lead.
Second home run of the weekend for Tally Rijo. Mentioned the senior day yesterday for this lefty. A monster stroke here. You heard me chirp at the pitch before. It looked sweet. Well, she didn't need that one. This is the only pitch she needed. Deepest part of the field. And this has been a weekend of the long ball. The only extra base hits they've had this weekend have come from the long ball.
Wyckoff, the batter. What's impressed you more this weekend? Rijo, the 2 home runs on offense. Yeah. Rijo deep in the 6 hole at shortstop.
Yeah, tough choice. She's been good on all fronts. Defensively, she has been so slick.
2 home runs in the inning. Arkansas with the lead.
Little chest bump in the dugout.
All smiles, rightfully so.
What a difference between the first and second inning for Ella Harrison. Started off this game with 2 strikeouts and a ground out, a quick 1-2-3. Had looked really good up in the zone, and then the meat of this order had the answers to the test in inning 2.
Wyckoff, you have to be careful here. She's got 2 home runs this weekend.
The bottom half of this order for Arkansas has been elite.
That's what's so scary, right?
It is. This is 1 through 9. Had a chance to talk to DJ Gasso, assistant coach and hitting coach here at Arkansas, before the game, and he said pretty much the same thing.
Sharply to first, over to second, and the delivery from Wilson is in time. Well, Adams couldn't haul it in cleanly. It bounced over to Daigle Wilson, and she delivered a strike back to first.
No replay here. This little rollover piece from Wyckoff. Wow. It's about as close as it gets. Oh my.
No review. Deep in the hole. Hastings, not in time.
It's a great effort by Hastings up the middle of this field. This is an off-foot throw. And another close play. To me, that one looked to be more of an out than the last
I was
out.
waiting for you to say that. I could tell that's what you thought.
I'm like, ah.
Well, Miller is aboard. That's her 3rd hit of the weekend, and a base knock for Carly Davison. Well, this inning has been interesting, to say the least. Couple of home runs and a couple of bang-bang plays over at first. Davison, the senior. And she's been rock solid over at second base this weekend in her own right. Hastings again. And delivers a strike off the hop. Dug out cleanly by Annalie Adams. And the Razorbacks grab the lead. This season, Arkansas 25-0. when leading after 2, and that's exactly what they're doing tonight.
Yeah, 2 bombs here. And of course it's bombs for Arkansas. Only extra base hits we've seen have been exiting the ballpark.
For the Women's College World Series, we've got a little bit time to get there here in the heart of the SEC season. And back in Fayetteville, 2-1. Number 6 Arkansas the lead against the Auburn Tigers. Aaron Miller, Roy Philpott. Kayla Walker, the LSU transfer, will lead things off. 3, 4, and 5. Timmerman comes too far inside again, and the 3rd batter she's hit tonight. And once again, Auburn has the leadoff runner aboard. seeing anything in the circle from Sailor Timmerman thus far? Kind of pitching in and out of some jams.
Yeah.
Our first 3 innings.
I think that's it. I think you nailed it. Trying to settle in to not get into a jam. Establishing control, trying to find her lane and her groove early in this game. Now she's got a lead. That's got to feel a little bit better. We mentioned the defense, how stellar Arkansas's defense has been this series, and relying on that. I think you have to carry the game yourself, and at times a young arm, a freshman in the circle, can feel that pressure.
Kayla Walker appears to be okay. Gets us to Annalee Adams. Razorbacks in this series, 15 free passes, either via the walk or the hit by pitch. Timmerman in the circle tonight. Annalee Adams up to bat, hitting .291. That cleanup role. Timmerman was a two-sport standout at Lakeland Union High School in Wisconsin. Aaron nearly averaged a double-double on the hardwood. Was actually a three-sport standout. Incredibly talented swimmer as well. Three-time all-conference at 200 meters. Were you strictly softball? Strictly softball.
I was. Played a little bit of golf up until about my freshman year, and then that was, had to phone it in. It's time to get serious.
You made a wise decision there. Golf is so frustrating. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-1 ball game. And a fly ball. Ballpark's going to hold it to right center. Reagan Johnson is there once again. It's one thing to be really good at one sport. It's something totally different to be really good in 2 sports. Sailor Timmerman was outstanding in 3, the prep ranks, before arriving here in Fayetteville. Back to Roebuck. Even Roebuck made an appearance in the Sports Center top 10 at the end of March. Sharply over to third. McDowell, they'll turn 2 again. 28 double play turn this year by this Auburn defense. And Courtney Deifel more than pleased with the support behind Sailor Timmerman so far tonight.
Big time defense continuing to play a massive role for Arkansas this weekend. 4th double play.
Back here at Bogle Park, game 3 between Arkansas and Auburn on a mic'd up Monday. Aaron Miller, Roy Philpott. Razorbacks coming back up to bat with the top of the order. Johnson, Bain, and McDowell. The power surge is here in Fayetteville this weekend. Home runs galore for the nation's 6th ranked team, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Johnson struck out her first time up. That came back in the first inning. Ella Harrison remains in the circle for the Tigers. Johnson now batting .369. Carson City, Texas native. All-time hits leader for the Razorbacks. Set that record last weekend versus the Gators. And a supreme speedster on the base pass once she gets aboard. Just grabbed a piece, still nothing in 2. Maybe my favorite quote of the week in asking Courtney Deifel about Reagan Johnson, that speed. She said, she glides. That paints a picture, doesn't it?
It does. It's the best adjective she could have used. 15 stolen bases on the year.
Perfect in that department. Straightaway center. Played perfectly by Womack. And there's one away. Softball this week. We'll have a 3-game series between number 7 Florida and South Carolina. That's coming up right here on the SEC Network. Series finale Sunday afternoon. We got games 1, 2, and 3 First two on the network, Game 3 on SEC Network Plus. Like everything else, of course, also on the ESPN app. Brindley Bain batting second. Off speed and strike one.
Freshman that cracked into this starting order. We mentioned we had a chance to chat with DJ Gasso. And he went on and on about Brindley Bain.
What was the word that he used? It stuck with me until it didn't before I was getting ready to say this.
I mean, the thing I remember him expressing was the fact that he knew she was going to be a knockout the second she got on campus.
Yeah.
Was a stud through high school play, knew the talent that she was going to bring into this program immediately. And he was right. Prepared, disciplined, very hard worker. And has stepped into this starting nine and had immediate impact.
She did strike out her first time up tonight, but this weekend really never has a bad plate appearance, you feel like.
Yeah.
Her approach.
Yeah, you can sense her high IQ for the game. Plays with a sixth sense. I feel like she just has a very patient approach. Coach Deifel talked to us too about Bain and just the excitement for the future of her career, what she's going to do as she matures in this program.
I'm going to give you one more. This one hit up the middle. Beautiful segue to continue the Brindley Bain conversation. Aaron, she posted the highest class average at Eagleville High School in science, in math, in history, and in English.
So she's a student athlete, all caps student.
Yes.
We like that.
I mean, that's hitting the jackpot.
That's good stuff.
Great athlete, great student, great ambassador in all likelihood for your program. Ella McDowell, 2 for 5 this weekend. Monster cut that is fouled away. Called the sport longer than I have, but one of my first series was working with you in this ballpark 2 years ago. It feels like it's been a steady climb and a rise in expectations and trajectory for Courtney Deifel's team. Now in her 11th season here in Fayetteville. And this team, to me, feels like the way they're playing, they got a great chance to break through, get to the Women's College World Series.
11 years as head coach here, has 2 SEC regular season championships, tournament championship, 8 of the NCAA appearances. I feel like every time they make that appearance, I'm like, this is going to be the year that they're going to bust into the Women's College World Series. And that's that next hump, right?
Trying to punch through. Well, maybe if you keep everybody healthy for that super regional round and maybe avoid food poisoning at that weird late hour, that would assist in matters. Another story for another day.
Another story for another day. Yeah, they had an unfortunate run-in with some sickness last year. Tough.
Could you play when you were ill like that?
I'm a baby. I'm a sissy when it comes to that. Not I. But you also are talking to someone that's phobic of throw up. So that was out for me. I'm out.
I mean, I didn't expect this to come up in the broadcast, but there's no worse feeling in the world.
There is no worse
when
feeling.
you know that you have to and then you decide that you're going
awful.
to. All right, that's it. That's it.
All right, we're moving on.
I apologize. The second that you said it, I couldn't avoid that conversation. 2-2 to Ella McDowell. Ella Harrison comes home and fouled away again.
I got to go back, though, to the Deifel effect, because since she stepped into this program 11 seasons ago, my goodness, where this program has gone, the trajectory that this team is headed, it is a matter of time, and I feel like it's going to happen at any moment that they will be in Oklahoma City. The talent's there.
Bain at first, and on 2 hops over to Hastings, and McDowell able to beat out the toss to avoid the double play.
Next up for Arkansas, the left fielder number 22, Dakota.
McDowell now at first, 2 away for Dakota Kennedy. And this is where you have to be careful. 13th home run of the season just moments ago. The outer edge off speed and strike one. I think it was the easy nature of the swing that stood out with that solo blast from Dakota. It promises to be a big night for her. Up and away to even the count. Now, coming in from Arizona, was first team all Big 12 last year. Courtney Deifel knew all about her skill set. Having seen her up close, was hoping for a chance when she put her name in the portal. Got that chance, and it was a fit right away. You love it when a plan comes together in that kind of way, Aaron. You thought it was a fit. Conversation is had. And indeed it was. She had a lot of options. She said here in Fayetteville she felt like she could be herself right away. And then maybe my second favorite quote that Coach Deifel gave us on Dakota Kennedy. She's brilliant. She's good at everything she does. No reps off, and here comes the 2-2.
I think that's the true test when you know you've found a gem, is that the standard of excellence doesn't turn off and on with certain things in their lives. And that to me was the sentiment from Coach Deifel, is that every single thing that Dakota Kennedy approaches, she does it with excellence. She lives one way. That's who you want to be on a team with. That's who I would want to be standing next to. That's what I think about you, Roy, being in the booth with you.
That feels like a stretch, but we'll take it. I was going to say, is that how you live your life as now a broadcaster?
I mean, again, if you were going to chalk up a characteristic of an athlete you'd want to coach, it'd be that.
Kylie Shaw had it played perfectly, hugging that left field line for out number 3. Razorbacks with a 2-1 lead. Kate Malvo, Auburn co-head coach, set to join us next.
Any negative rhetoric. This is a team-first program. They are committed to the process, and that process doesn't fade whether you win, whether you lose. This program is committed to figuring things out.
That message has been consistent.
Yeah.
Going back to our conversations last Thursday. And now multiple times speaking with Auburn's co-head coaches, Chris Malvo and Kate Malvo. Anaya Womack will lead things off for the Tigers here in the top of the 4th inning. 50 pitches in now for Sailor Timmerman. Swatted foul. Anaya, the junior from Brandon, Mississippi, began her career at Ole Miss. Now her 2nd year on the Plains. Also a multi-sport standout, playing basketball at Hartfield Academy. Led her team to a pair of state championships. Rio, I mean, it is automatic. It is automatic in the 6 hole with Arkansas in 2026.
What an all-star. Offensively, defensively, so athletic, and she makes it look so smooth, so easy. That is not an easy play to make. That infield, kind of the half sunshine, half shade to deal with as well over there at shortstop.
And I wasn't even considering that, but that's exactly where that ball traveled through, in and out of the sunshine and through the shadows.
Hard. Her commitment to stay down on that too. I mean, she's got no problem giving up the body to keep the ball in front of her.
Stroud back to the circle. Timmerman stabs it out of the air for out number 2.
Much cleaner inning so far for Timmerman, both with pitch sequence and pitch control and a little defense. We saw the throwing error from her back in the first inning. That one much more confident overhand.
Quickly 2 away, 0-1 to Ava Ratliff. Ratliff, the first player in Indiana State history with back-to-back seasons, hitting 20 home runs or more. A lot of youth in this Auburn program. 1-2. That's been part of the adversity here in the middle portion of this conference slate. Cut on and miss the strikeouts. 11 pitch inning for Sailor Timmerman. Her second strikeout. And coming up, we'll touch base with Courtney Deifel, Arkansas's head coach.
That's 4 bombs in a row. That's 4 bombs in a row. That away.
On a mic'd up Monday, Courtney Deifel. Very glad she has decided to wear the microphone. We're told she is wearing several microphones. 2-1 our score.
Too
Aaron
many
Miller,
microphones.
Roy Philpott, and now Courtney Deifel joins us. So, I mean, this weekend you guys have been awfully impressive. What are you seeing so far down there today in Game 3 going for the sweep?
Well, today I just see an intent and staying the course. So things aren't flowing as much for us, but we're staying the course. We're having better at bats. We're seeing our defense make some really great plays, and we're seeing Sailor stay on the attack. So far so good.
Coach, I don't know what you're feeding this defense, but double plays have been impressive from up here. This has got to be something that you guys practice over and over.
I mean,
over.
haven't they been impressive?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh my gosh. I love watching our defense every day, but they've been absolutely game-changing this weekend. But yeah, we practice a lot. Matt drills them. They take a lot of pride in their defense, and so we're seeing it play out.
Let's see if we can lose one microphone by the end of the game,
I would
but we
love to do that.
appreciate you being mic'd up for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. We'll pick.
I mean, she did tell us, like, she had 3 different microphones on right now. She
Yeah.
was mic'd up yesterday.
All weekend.
Yeah, we didn't know that. But it's great.
She's getting some practice in.
Offense has been rock solid, and those extra base hits, every single one. Now in Game 3, through the first 2.5 contests, has gone out of the ballpark. 6 extra base hits, all accounting for runs.
Off speed there out of the hand of Harrison. First time we've seen that so far.
A lot of real estate between short and second on the shift. What do you make of that alignment, Aaron?
To me, what I see is that outfield is playing deep. I mean, they're almost completely on the warning track there. We saw that towering home run from her yesterday. Pull side barely stayed fair. Left field line.
And again in that same direction, right over the top of the foul pole. And this time it hooked a bit too far by about 10 feet.
That looked like a rinse and repeat yesterday, but just shaded foul. And that's exactly why defense playing deep, just a few steps off the warning track. You know, I mentioned this yesterday, so fair foul is reviewable unless the ball is above the foul pole line.
Just getting ready to tee you up for that exact question.
I learned you up yesterday.
Yes, you did. You absolutely did. I love learning in a broadcast, which I do each and every game. Great look down that left field line, 200 feet to get to that foul pole and that outfield wall. Did you call it a foul pole or fair pole?
Foul pole.
Foul pole. Straightaway center. This one's got a chance, and it's gone. 12th home run of the season for the hard-hitting first baseman. Tiana Bell gets it done.
Felt like a matter of time. The contact, the way that she was seeing the ball from the hand of Harrison. She has the pull side foul ball, and then this very next swing, low in the zone, and she's not early. The change, the adjustment of timing on that swing, right at the knees, that's exactly where you'd want to hit that pitch. Patient at the plate, waits to time it up, unbelievable. Here's the reaction we wanted to see.
We need to hear that in a moment on a Mic'd Up Monday. I assume that we will. 3 runs on the board for Arkansas here in game 3 tonight. All 3 of the solo shot variety. Dakota Kennedy, Tiana Bell, Natalia Rio.
We may see a change in the circle here from Auburn, and we will.
Tigers making a pitching change. Blaine Godfrey into the circle. Ella Harrison's night is done. I'll tell you more about Blaine coming up. Harrison's evening comes to a close, making her second start of this weekend series. Heron faithful, 3 innings tossed, 55 pitches, and the 3 home runs given up as Blaine Godfrey enters the circle. Alabama native, Hartselle High School, and the right-hander, a redshirt freshman. Number 12 recruit in the country, going back to 2022. Freshman campaign a year ago, did not see any game action. First year on the Plains. Different story here this campaign. Natalia Rio, the batter. 7th home run of the season back in the 2nd inning. After hitting her 6th yesterday. 3-1 here in the home half of the 4th. Razorbacks going for the series sweep. It's interesting. Look at the schedule for both of these teams after tonight. And far from a walk in the park for either side. Very tough. Right back up the middle. That'll sneak through for a base hit. 3rd of the weekend for Rijo, standing at first base.
A nice adjustment for Rijo, facing a much different arm in the circle. Harrison was north and south, hard rise and drop. Godfrey predominantly screw and curve, so a different plane of movement out of this freshman pitcher.
The 7th appearance of the season for Godfrey. And Wyckoff takes strike 1. Now the bottom of this Arkansas lineup has been outstanding. Helping set the table and then some for the top half of the order. Head coach Courtney Deifel. Have you ever worn 3 microphones at once? That seems like a lot. She's mic'd up for us on a Mic'd Up Monday. She had the headset on, and then there was another.
I think they had some video crew. Arkansas had her mic'd up as well.
Do we need 3? Can we just use 1? Everybody gets the same feed?
We're in the age of content, Roy. It's all about the content.
It's unfortunate, but accurate. I mean, I guess it's not unfortunate if it's good content.
It's good stuff.
The 0-2. Everybody's got a YouTube channel.
Or podcast.
I always say I'm going to listen to more podcasts, and then I never do. Godfrey records her first strikeout. First out of the inning. I don't think I can name you a podcast just off the top of my head.
I miss 7 Innings podcast. What do you mean?
There we go.
RIP. Bring it back.
I mean, yes.
Casting my vote. Rally the troops. Bring back the greats. Talk some ball.
You ready to go with
I'm
that?
ready. I'm ready.
What's the conversation here?
It was a big-time K against Wyckoff, and right now it's just trying to stay within this moment. 1 out on the board, bottom half of this order. If I'm Riker Chasen, I'm telling her, take a deep breath. Stay within yourself. Let's finish this inning. This is a really big opportunity for Godfrey. Mentioned the different arm, the different contrast between her and Harrison. Screw, curve, change, a little bit more of a junk ball arm as opposed to Ella Harrison, who started this game for Auburn. So she's going to have to force Arkansas to make some adjustments here at the plate.
It's her 9th strikeout of the season. Pitch came in high. Batted down by Ratliff. Escaping to second is Rijo. Heads up base running, as you would expect. Gap widens between shortstop and the second baseman. I feel like I want to telestrate that, what I just saw. The amount of real estate, I mean, right up the middle.
You just want to draw on the screen?
I mean, I can't do it, but I mean, look at that distance there. I mean, you could put another blue cone on the other side of the bag at second. It could be a multi-blue cone event.
We've been talking a lot about defensive shifts, though, this weekend. We've seen quite a bit of situations where Auburn has shifted over to play into the scout of Arkansas offense. Talked about the data within our game now, the numbers, the quick data on hand that has really made, I believe, an offensive juggernaut in our sport. But defensively, this is also some of the data that you're privy to is what are the sprays of power for these bats? Where's the power alley? How can we position ourselves accordingly?
Miller turned on that one a bit too soon. I mean, I see the blue cone, vision cone right there on the telestrator. You just press that and then it pops up.
You missed it. I did it earlier.
I know, I liked it. But I mean, it's, yeah.
That's a really good view, though. You can see that Hastings at shortstop playing in that 5-6 hole.
To the backstop, Rijo advancing to third. On the wild pitch. Godfrey looked at Ratliff and said, that was my bad. Now the payoff from Godfrey. And a free pass will put Miller at first base. So runners now at the corners. Coming up Friday night, number 2 Texas, number 20 Texas A&M start a huge 3-game series down in College Station. That's in baseball. We'll have it for you right here on the SEC Network, the ESPN app, coverage of Game 1. The Lone Star Showdown Series begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Aggies and Horns, need we say more? Pivotal series down in Texas. Second pitching change here of this inning. Abby Herndon now in the circle for the Tigers. Aaron, while we have a moment, are you familiar with all of the different mascots and nicknames for Auburn?
I'm not, but I'm hoping you are, and I'm hoping you can learn me up right now.
Okay. So we actually ran this as a graphic last year down on the Plains. I think we did it maybe in softball and baseball. It's the Auburn Tigers, of course.
Do that one.
So you can go with Tigers, you can go with AU, you can go with Auburn. There's also, of course, War Eagle.
That, yep.
So you can go with War Eagle, but you can't use the plural of War Eagle. So you can't say War Eagles. No.
No plural.
That is incorrect. If you want to offend an Auburn fan, that is one way to do it quickly.
Did you figure that out the hard way?
No.
Okay.
I've known about this
Okay.
for quite some period of time. But I've worked with people in various sports that incorrectly have utilized that terminology before, and I've had to unfortunately correct them on air for fear of being ridiculed on social media. So War Eagle, Tigers, not the plural of the bird.
All right.
Auburn, AU, you're good to go.
Speaking of bird, there is a bird flying around inside of the press box right now. I just wanted to, if you saw my eyes darting up to the ceiling,
That's what that was.
there are some open windows in the booth, and there is indeed a bird in the booth. Hello, team. See the open windows there? A bird has entered the premises.
Herndon in the circle for the Tigers. Carly Davison, the hitter, batting ninth once again, hitting .376 coming into this series. Only play is going to be at first. They'll get the out there. A run scores. Rio touches home plate. And the Razorbacks add to their advantage. It's now 4-1.
Squeeze play, suicide squeeze. If there's an underhand throw there from Herndon, there's a play at home plate. I'm not sure why that wasn't something she was comfortable going to, but that ball easily bunted hard enough back out to her in the pitching circle. I think should have been a play at home.
Now at second base is Kennedy Miller. 0-1 to Reagan Johnson, back to the top of the order. Does speak to the aggressive nature of the approach for Arkansas to put down the suicide squeeze. The new pitcher coming in almost right away. 0-2.
A meaningful rep there for Arkansas. I mean, they've got the lead here, had a 2-run lead before that squeeze bunt. Why not go for it? Put it in game play. See how it feels. Apply some pressure to this defense.
Infield comes in, the 0-2, swung on and missed. Johnson strikes out for the second time tonight. Quality appearance out of the bullpen for Abby Herndon. The Razorbacks add to their tally, now leading Auburn 4-1. The ESPN networks, OU and Texas in a top three showdown. What a scene that will be in a rematch of the Women's College World Series. Back here in Fayetteville, one pitch, one away. The new Arkansas hurler, Robin Herron, back in the circle after tossing complete game 5-inning shutouts in game 1 on Saturday, Aaron.
Yeah, working through a little bit of an injury, was day-to-day managing the output from this arm. But a meaningful arm nonetheless. A senior for this group, attacks the top half of the strike zone and has wicked spin from the left side.
Love the use of the word wicked there. That's exactly what it is. After Wilson flied out to right field, it's back to the top of the AU batting order. Kylie Shaw, 0-2. We showed you that graphic. Texas, Oklahoma. What is that like?
Intense, to put it lightly.
And a strikeout. Robin Herron, 2 up, 2 down quickly.
Quick work so far for the lefty. It's curveball, cuts across the plate. A great location, about a ball out of the strike zone, forces the chase.
24 starts a season ago, 34 appearances, second-team All-American. And a potential out was dropped crossing the left field line by Dakota Kennedy. So new life for Alyssa Hastings, who's 1 for 2. Sunsets in about 22 minutes here in Fayetteville. That twilight sky sometimes can mess with you on the move out there in the outfield. Beautiful night, though. The way you answered that question on Texas, Oklahoma, kind of gave me goosebumps. Look at Riho again from her knees, decided not to attempt the throw. Prevented the ball from going into the outfield.
Yeah, it didn't result in an out, but more than anything, we get to continue to be dazzled by the athleticism of Talurijo. Smart choice, I think, just to eat that, not make the throw, keep the ball in the infield, get the jersey dirty a little.
Feels good.
Feels good. I do feel like that's always how it happens. You miss the fly ball out, give up a base
Walker right to the track and a leaping grab. Wyckoff was there. She has done it all this weekend. Kaylee Wyckoff in right field. Against the wall, no problem at all.
It is so easy for us to talk about offense this weekend for Arkansas, but how can you not talk about this defense? Are you kidding me?
Saved 2 runs.
To end the inning for Auburn was the error in left field that gave way to a base hit. This is Kennedy dropping this in left. Base hit immediately followed that drop fly ball, and then the out to end the inning would have been a 2-run shot, Roy. Auburn was looking for it. They needed it. They needed that break and didn't get it.
Yeah, she gave it a run, gave it a charge. I've said this a couple of times this weekend, but that is what we have seen time after time. Opportunities there until they're ripped away at the last second. It's like Lucy taking the football away from Charlie Brown trying to attempt the field goal. Overshift on again in the Auburn infield for Brinley Bain.
You can see shortstop shaded over on the other side of second base. You've got another opportunity here. There's a lot of holes on that defense right now. You know, if I'm a hitter, if I'm Brinley Bain, what this is showing me is a pitch sequence as well. They're going to be hammering the inside part of the zone. They're banking on me pulling this to the pull side part of the field. To me, it tells me pitch location. Play into it.
Three balls and a strike. Brinley with 2 hits this weekend. 1 for 2 today. Hitting over 400 already in her first season in Fayetteville. Out of the zone and Bain aboard the leadoff walk. Third pitcher that we've seen today for the Tigers, Abby Herndon.
There's the duo, Chris Malvo and Kate Malvo. Second season here at Auburn.
Good first campaign last season. Trying to get back their winning ways here in game 3. McDowell hammers that one foul.
Back-to-back Women's College World Series appearances when they were coaching at Tennessee. Had experience Louisiana, Missouri. Chris there on the left, offensive specialist, a great mind within our game when it comes to offense. And a heck of a duo. I've had a chance to be around these two. Even back when Chris was coaching at Bradley, I was still playing at Oklahoma. I mean, a phenomenal, phenomenal pair.
1 and 2. They certainly know the SEC with all of their experience. You mentioned at Tennessee and Mizzou. Second year now on the Plains. They have been transparent in our conversations with them in game, even while we're not on the air, and obviously getting set for this series last week. Dakota Kennedy had the duck out of the way, standing next to the on-deck circle there. Everything's good. Sailor Timmerman got the start tonight for Arkansas. Robin Heron came on in relief of her. And McDowell could be two. Wilson, Hastings, they'll get the one out there. And it's the first out of the frame.
Now batting for Arkansas, the left fielder, number 22.
Wilson's perfectly placed to field this. That toss was almost a little soft there. I was wondering if Hastings was going to make it there in time.
Pressure-packed moments. Back to Dakota Kennedy. 13th home run of the season, her first AB. Pitch in the dirt, 1-0. Now Dakota, legendary baker since arriving here in Fayetteville, we're told. A couple of interviews out on YouTube and various podcasts where she discussed her knack for the cinnamon roll. In the 3 hours.
The 3+ hour prep time.
I mean, we mentioned it yesterday. Riker Chasen comes out of the Auburn dugout. 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
I don't doubt it. I mean, if they're yeasted cinnamon rolls, they got to prove, they got to rise.
I don't even really know what that means. Yeasted cinnamon rolls? Or
Yeah,
all cinnamon rolls?
Yeasto.
Okay.
Yeah. No, not all cinnamon rolls are yeast.
See, I didn't know.
The best ones are, though.
Okay. Because the dough rises in those scenarios.
Exactly, yes.
I'm more about the icing. Like, I need a little bit, but not too much,
We
and it can't
talked
be
about
too
this
sweet.
yesterday. It's got to be cream cheese.
If you're an Arkansas fan right now, all icing tastes great because your team is playing so well at such a high level. Everything Courtney Deifel is doing is working with this group, and especially the current hitter, Dakota Kennedy.
Riker Chasen, who just visited the pitching circle for Auburn, also second season, came in with Chris and Kate Malvo. Pitching coach, specializes in the data, the human performance of these arms. There's a lot of experience on this Auburn staff. Coach Chasen spent a season at Ole Miss, 4 seasons at LSU, competed with the USA men's fast pitch team.
After 3 straight out of the zone, Herndon makes it 3-1. Kennedy, of course, was the hero last weekend. We'll show you that walk-off home run against the Florida Gators. The one that allowed Courtney Deifel to lose her voice after the fact. Watch that replay so many times. Slicing foul and just past Kylie Shaw. Last Sunday, Bogle Park, place to be, sun shining brightly. Walk it off, and there it is, a 3-run shot as the Razorbacks were down to their final out, bottom of the 7th inning. Big time. And a good take, Kennedy aboard. The second free pass of the frame. Dow now at second base, Kennedy at first.
Well, now you got to find the strike zone against Tiana Bell, who homered back in the 4th. Also homered yesterday in game 2. Monster blast.
Popped up shallow right and about 2 paces back on the outfield grass. Daga Wilson will make the play for out number 2. Talia Rijo gets set to dig in. This is must-see TV. Whether it's on defense or up to bat. 2 for 2 tonight. Rijo out in front.
Nice off-speed pitch by Herndon.
10 more minutes of daylight before the sun officially sets here in the natural state. 0-2.
3 totally different types of arms that we've seen in the circle from Auburn. Now the lefty in the circle. We've seen the rise, the drop from Harrison. We saw the east to west movement from the freshman arm. Now the lefty with some off speed. So, you know, Arkansas is having to time up and locate much different release points from this staff.
You can feel the wheels turning in this game. Riho to Wilson. And the Razorbacks will strand 2. Top of the 6th coming up, 4-1. Home team out in front. What a scene that was on a mic'd up Monday. Courtney Deifel reacting in real time after Kaylee Wyckoff's catch. The right field wall robbing Auburn's Michaela Walker of a 2-run home run and what could have been potential game changer for the Tigers. Wyckoff has enjoyed quite a weekend here in the home ballpark in Fayetteville. 4-1 our score. Aaron Miller, Roy Philpott. And the Tigers back up to bat against Robin Herron. It's been an eventful weekend in the SEC once again. Next weekend it gets even better. Some of the series that we've already previewed here tonight in Game 3. Courtney Deifel, if you're just tuning in, also informed us she's wearing 3 separate microphones, at least for our interview mid-game. The headset counted as one. She's mic'd up on a mic'd up Monday and also mic'd up as a result of our hardworking friends in the Arkansas control room. I don't think I've ever been mic'd up for anything outside of just calling games. Adams able to check her swing. Hitting cleanup once again, Annalie Adams. Big strike 2.
It's impressive to watch Robin Herron do her thing. I would describe her kind of like a thumber in the circle. Really deceptive speed, deceptive spin. Hard to square up firmly. And the fact that it's coming from the left side, and if you're in the right-handed batter's box, just that backdoor late movement.
She offer, peel down to first. They will say that she did. And the strikeout for Robin Herron, Terry Holtz on the appeal, confirming that Adams went around.
That's the right call. Barrel definitely broke the plane of the strike zone. That's what I mean about this arm. You just can't quite figure out when to pull the trigger. That's the hard stuff, firm. You can hear the pop of the glove. Most of the time, it's got late break. It's really deceptive.
Haven Roebuck, the batter. Yeah, it sounds different when the ball meets the catcher's mitt tonight with Herron in the circle. Haven was able to reach the E1 back in the first inning. Off speed that time, 1-2. Roebuck, a native of North Carolina, South Central High School in Winterville. Upstairs to even the count. Has her eyes set on a major in biomedical engineering. standout volleyball player, the prep ranks. Good take. Count runs full. And Aaron, despite everything that's happened this weekend, it's just a 3-run deficit for the Tigers. A couple of base runners and a blast. They are right back in it. Popped up a mile high. Who wants it? Reagan Johnson does.
When you heard co-head coach Kate Malvo mention that, we're in this. We're going to continue to apply pressure. One swing of the bat, one inning, one pitch could change this ball game. And to your point, with only 3-run deficit on the board, set the table, one swing.
And if Kaylee Wyckoff wasn't playing out in right field, could be a 4-3 game right now. Nia Womack, 0-1. Great environment here in Fayetteville. Weather's cooperated this weekend. There were some nasty storms that pushed through before we landed some 3 nights ago. Mile high again, no problem. Dakota Kennedy is there. 4-1, home half of the 6th coming up after a 13-pitch frame from Robin Herron. At home plate, Tiana Bell, her 12th home run of the season. Tigers have put 3 different pitchers in the circle. Only run that they've scored this weekend coming on an error. The E1 back in the first. Hammered away, Wyckoff sends it all the way to the left field wall off the bounce. And Kaylee Wyckoff doing Kaylee Wyckoff things once again.
It's the first extra base hit that hasn't been a home run this entire weekend. Off the wall, left center field. A no-doubter standing up at second base. Wyckoff has been money this weekend.
Cash money. Pinch runner going to come in, it looks like. As Wyckoff heads back to the dugout. Del Duca now standing at second base after the leadoff double. And to your point, first extra base hit that we've seen that has not left the ball yard. Kennedy Miller digs in again for the Razorbacks. High and tight for ball 1. I feel like in the series moving forward, you're going to be dominant on the telestrator after this weekend. Is that fair to say?
I feel confident to go for it now. You know, I am a graphic design major. I need to put those skill sets, I need to put that degree to use on the telestrator more often.
I was a computer engineering major. I use none of that as a broadcaster now. Go figure. The minor in math.
Go figure.
Just a huge nerd. I think if you're a play-by-player, you almost have to be that, don't you? You're kind of nerdy. Your silence is deafening.
Computer engineering. Is that real? Were you being honest with me?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you know I'm a nerd. As I was saying as you were talking to our producer there.
As we were gossiping about you?
Yeah, I could tell. I think all play-by-players, not all, but if you listen to us talk, men, women, whomever, I think by default we have to be kind of nerdy.
Why do you say that?
Because chances are we weren't good enough in sports.
But you love sports.
Oh, of course. Absolutely love it. Good battle here. And Miller stays alive, still 2-2. Of course, we all love sports, but we couldn't play at your level. So what's the next best thing that we could do? We want to be at the ballpark.
Talk about sports.
It's to talk about it, right?
Well, if that is the case, I love all the nerds that I get to work with throughout the softball season.
Oh, so everybody, we're all
They're
the
great.
same.
They're all great. We've got some great ones.
We do. You know who probably is the least nerdy is Beth Mowens.
She's the GOAT.
No doubt. Sharply to third. Only play is going to be over to first. They'll whip it back across, and not in time. Del Duca able to get to third base. Yeah, she's not a nerd, for clarification. I know, Beth.
Greatest of all time.
The GOAT. I like that.
She also is a walking encyclopedia. And I can only speak for the sport of softball. She's obviously been calling our game for a long time. Her memory of the sport, so impressive.
Well, maybe that does make her somewhat of a, like the rest of us, play-by-players. See if we have another change coming, or brief conversation in the circle. Team's going to gather on the backside. Razorbacks are threatening again. This crowd calling the Hogs, as they like to say here in this part of Northwest Arkansas. We will get a change. Charlie Butler going to check in, the right-handed freshman. We'll step aside. Tell you more about her coming up next. Back here in Northwest Arkansas, Charlie Butler, the freshman right-hander. Sunshine State native, making her second appearance in this series. Fourth Auburn pitcher utilized tonight here in game 3. Razorbacks trying to add one more run, a little extra insurance. Auburn will be down to its final 3 outs in the top of the 7th. Carly Davidson, the hitter.
Davidson laid down that beautiful squeeze in the 4th inning.
Give her the RBI on the suicide squeeze. Made it a 4-1 ball game. Infield is in. Del Duca at third base, the pinch runner.
As fun as it is to watch home runs, one of my favorite offensive plays is a squeeze bunt, a suicide squeeze. It's so hard to execute.
Could we see another one here?
So much pressure.
Got some speed, 60 feet away.
I mean, think about that. The pressure of having to put the barrel on that ball, or your runner at third base is going to be absolutely hosed.
It's a bad feeling if it happens that way. Good feeling for the defense.
I loved that play when I played softball. I love that play now calling softball.
Do you feel like you
fires me up?
Forecast it when it's getting ready to happen?
You know, some programs, yes. Obviously, having my experience at OU, I know OU loves the squeeze play.
Patty Gasso's texting you. No, she's not. Here it comes.
It's coming.
Popped up shallow left, and a long run for Kylie Shaw prevents the run from scoring. Certainly not deep enough for the sac fly.
I more so can predict it or sense it with teams that are really aggressive on the base pass. So think like, you know, I saw one calling Florida State a couple weeks ago. I've seen it with Duke, two programs that are extremely aggressive on the base pass. But right here for Arkansas, that was unexpected for me. You know, this has been a weekend of home runs. And then in that situation to drop down the bunt, especially with Carly Davidson at the plate, that was exciting to see.
Riker Chasen back out of the Auburn dugout into the circle. Courtney Deifel looking on. Has to be pleased. Has to be pleased with how well her team is playing right now. Backing up the Florida Series victory, a potential sweep here tonight of Auburn. Impossible to do in this conference, given its strength from top to bottom.
Well, and getting hot at the right time. I mean, we're at home right now for Arkansas. They hit the road to Mississippi State next weekend in Stark Vegas, and then they go to Oklahoma.
I mean, put a circle around that one.
Wow.
Put a star beside game 1, 2 stars beside game 2, and a couple more for game 3. I mean, buckle up.
And their last 2 series for the SEC host Mizzou here after going to Norman, and then they finish SEC play in Austin, facing Texas. Tough road ahead.
Very difficult road. Megan Johnson, slap foul.
Same goes for Auburn, too. We were looking at the road ahead for both of these programs. SEC is a gauntlet. Always is.
That is the understatement of the century. And now more than ever. Auburn in the top of the 7th. It's 7, 8, and 9 due up first. Try to keep this one going and avoid the sweep. Butler comes home with a 1-2. It's softly over to short, and they'll look the runner back. No play at first. So Arkansas now with runners at the corners. Johnson at first, Del Duca at third. Base hit for Reagan Johnson, and that'll be her second of the series. It looks like we got another pitching change coming.
Looks like it'll be S.J. Guerin. S.J. Guerin started game 2. And it's been a whole staff effort this weekend for Auburn. And frankly, it's been a whole staff effort here in game 3. Junior spent 2 seasons at Oklahoma, one of those redshirted. This was game 2, so yesterday had a K through 86 pitches through 5 innings.
She brings a lot to the circle, Aaron.
Well, we've been talking about adjustments, in-game adjustments that Arkansas is having to make off of the 4 different arms they've seen through game 3. This one, I mean, no different. 3 speeds, curve, screw. And just needing an out. I mean, that is the challenge right here for SJ, is come in and slam the door.
Game's still there. 3 outs to work with. Find a way to get to that top of the 7th unscathed.
Hey, this last out just feels so hard for Auburn to make. So for Riker Chasen, pitching coach for Auburn, calling upon S.J. Guerin to step in here and get 1 out. That is the job. At this moment, that is the ask.
Well, the inning started with a double off the bat of Kaylee Wyckoff. Pinch runner Del Duca able to get to third base. Base knock stayed in the infield moments ago by Reagan Johnson after a couple of outs, and now another pitching change for Brinley Bain. Wheels turning this late hour in Fayetteville. Been a beautiful weekend for softball. Heart of the SEC schedule. Runner takes off for second. Johnson remains perfect. 16 for 16. She glides into second base. And let's see now a conversation between David Irwin, our home plate umpire, J.C. Bartley down at third.
That play's under review.
Well, Reagan Johnson is 15 for 15 on stolen bases.
I'm giving her 16 for 16 after that. Let's take a look.
That's clean. Ball is quarter of the way to the plate. Foot still on first base.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Your years of calling softball, how many times have you seen that call overturned?
Less than a handful.
You can count on one hand.
I can count on one hand.
I was surprised you gave me any.
Yeah.
I've never seen that call overturned.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The runner left on time. Auburn has one challenge remaining.
But if it's close, you understand why you want to do it.
I'm sure you can remember the first season that the replay got implemented. That was a big card to play. We saw that replay used quite frequently, trying to keep runners honest, right? If you can play that card and use that tool, why not? That's started to calm down quite a bit.
2 runners in scoring position, 2 outs, and Bain takes strike 1. Now the future so bright for Brindley. You can say that about a number of freshmen in the SEC this season. 1-2. Boy, confidence enters the circle with SJ. Courtney Deifel reminded us that Brindley Bain does not have a lot of bad at-bats. Sharply to short. Hastings up to the challenge. Fielded perfectly into the shift. Auburn down to its final 3 outs. 7, 8, and 9 due up first for the Tigers after this. Auburn Tigers down to their final 3 outs back at Bogle Park in beautiful Fayetteville, Arkansas, with Aaron Miller, Roy Philpott. And this Auburn offensive approach under Chris Malveaux and Kate Malveaux, now in their second seasons, well, it's gotten better each and every year. 6 runs is kind of that magical mark. When they hit 6, they've been almost unbeatable. And this weekend running into an Arkansas buzzsaw, but the improvement, Aaron, has been significant under their watch.
The trends are there, and that is co-head coach Chris Malveau's specialty. One of the offensive greats in our sport. Incredible mind for hitting.
Tigers down 3. Kyla Stroud will lead it off. 0 for 2 tonight. Inside out swing down the right field line, and Wyckoff is there. That's Del Duca that stayed in the game. And Auburn offense able to scratch across that first run this evening. Came on the E1. Then Arkansas taking advantage with its power. One away for Ava Ratliff. Fly ball straightaway center. Johnson tracking. Tigers down to their final out.
Auburn will be back at home next weekend facing the Tide.
Rumor has it that somebody we know may be there calling the action.
I will be there. I'm excited about it too. Myself and Eric Freed.
I bet Eric will be excited to work with you. Here's a look
He's
at
a goodie.
Alabama series coming up. Can you tell Eric that I called him a nerd in this broadcast?
My pleasure.
Okay. But remind him that I called myself a nerd too.
You know, when I look at this road ahead, it's tough, but I think that there's some opportunity there for Auburn to get a couple dubs in the back pocket. Won't be easy, and that's something that both of these head coaches admitted to us. They're going to have to keep pushing, keep figuring some things out, but that's the culture of this program. They're committed to it.
Delaney Amua, pinch hitter. And the Tigers down to their final strike. Now Arkansas on the verge of sweeping Auburn now in 4 This last 5 SEC series going back to 2019. Now have won 15 of their last 17 against AU. And Arkansas is doing this to a lot of teams these days. Well, it could be one of the best teams that Courtney Deifel has had here in the natural state.
Described as one of the most complete teams that she's ever coached.
Heron remains in the circle, and the payoff high and tight. No, don't go anywhere just yet. Good take and a good plate appearance for Amua. And that gets us back to the top of the order, and Kylie Shaw. Crazier things have happened. Shaw, an outstanding eye, leads the SEC in walks coming into the weekend. Shaw's reached base twice tonight. Once on the free pass, second time after being hit by a pitch. And Dakota Kennedy is there, and the game is over. 4-1 our final in game 3. Arkansas with the series sweep against its SEC rival Auburn. Now the 4th consecutive conference series victory for the Razorbacks, continuing to ascend up the league standings and in the national rankings, Aaron.
You know, we saw a nice showing of the long ball all weekend long, but I gotta give love to this defense. The double plays, the catch that's robbed the 2-run shot in right field. To me, what we saw this weekend from Arkansas, if they can continue to compete at this level and at this standard, we may see this squad punch their ticket for the first time to the Women's College World Series.
They've been so close and aiming to get there under Courtney Deifel this season, with an incredible opportunity to do so. Fun weekend on an Easter weekend here in Fayetteville, and especially for the Arkansas fans in attendance for these 3 games. For Aaron Miller, I'm Roy Philpott. They're calling the Hogs still here at Bogle Park, and rightfully so. 4-1 our final score. Number 6 Arkansas gets it done in all 3 games against the Auburn Tigers. As we say goodnight and so long from Fayetteville.